Man, we're back. And man, listen, this is one of those things where me and my guy Stats been talking about this kind of stuff for the most of the year. You know what I'm saying? H-Town, D-Town is in the building. Of course, this is the Platform Podcast Network. I am one of the hosts on the Platform Podcast Network, DFW. Of course, we got Coach Stats in the building from the H-Town. Now, you know why we doing this now, right? You know, by now, if you're in the high school media, if you're in the high school ranks, you know why this show is going down. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be H-Town versus D-Town this weekend, so we have to go on and bring this out. You know what I'm saying? H-Town, D-Town, DFW, Houston Podcast Platform Edition is going down. State Championship Edition is going down. Stats, what's up, baby? What's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm excited, man. Last week of the Texas high school football season, we here, man. We made it through really 16 weeks, 17 if you include the bye. We here, baby.
Absolutely. Well, it's been 17 weeks for us, man. First of all, congratulations on your state championship. Before we get started, you know what I'm saying? Third in a row. This time as a head coach. But hey, this was a different one. You know what I'm saying? Me talking to
Yeah.
you off and on throughout the season, this was a little bit different for you because now you're the head guy. You got to decide if you're going for it on fourth down. You got to decide if you're punting. You got to decide if you're going for two. You're wearing a multitude of hats now. You know what I'm saying? Congrats.
Yeah.
Talk about this run and what it means to you as a head coach now.
Appreciate it, man. It meant a lot to me, man. And I just kept having to remind myself, man, just stay the course, stay the course. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, let's get there. Long I feel like we can get there. The rest is history, but a bunch of ups and downs, man. But it was rewarding in the end. My guys said, they stay locked in, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Side Kip, man, that's down at H-Town, man. My guy, Coach Stats, got him another ring, man, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to those guys, you know what I'm saying, on that team. It's a winning culture, you know what I'm saying? And now, before we get to this, because, these teams that we're about to talk about each have a winning culture, you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
You've been a part of three championships, winning culture. You've established that, at Kip. What do you see, from your team when you're going through that? And I guess you can imagine the feelings and what it takes from these 6 teams we're about to talk about to get to this point.
Everybody has to buy in, man. One thing about football is it's the ultimate team sport. Like, one bad apple can spoil the bunch, bro. Like that is true. It's gonna take like a full team effort. Like some days the offense might not be there, defense got to pick it up. So vice versa. Even during the practice, I always tell the guys like, man, we win the games on Mondays. That's when you win. That's when the game actually starts. Once you get out there Friday, so you put everything that you was taught throughout the week. What I'm saying, it culminated, and you put it out there in the field. But man, but that winning culture, man, it starts in the locker room. It starts with every guy, like from the starter to the last man on the bench. Everybody has to believe, because that's the one thing about like young kids. They're impressionable. And if they see something that's working, they're gonna ride with it. Because if they trust in you, then they're gonna be by your side. So man, that's where a winning coach start, man. Just be believing.
Well, definitely, man. You guys have done that at Kip. Starting, your first year to the third year. That's hard to do. You know what I mean? And kudos to you guys as a staff and as a community getting that done. But let's talk about these 3 games. We got 3 games on Saturday that feature Houston and Dallas matchups. You got to look at, right now Dallas wears the head. They're the champions. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Outside of Randall, coming back for the same year, Sock's been there 5 times, won 2 and lost 2. Duncanville's been there
that.
3 out of 4 years. North Shore's been there. DeSoto's been there 3 out of the 4 years. The new kid on the block is C. King. So, you know what? Now, these games are in succession, all 3, starting with South Oak Cliff and Randall. But I, in my opinion, I'm going to save the best for last. We're going to go out of order, so to speak. But we're gonna
Okay, I'm
start.
with
We
it.
talked about we'll start with C King and DeSoto, which we talked about C King as being the new kids on the block. This is their first appearance, in recent history. 13-2 on the season, 23-6A. 11-6-8. These two districts are always talked about around the state of Texas as the two districts of doom. You know what I'm saying? You got DeSoto, who's on a monster roller coaster of up and down in the season this year, starting off in Georgia with a big loss. They lost in the second game to North Crowley. They play and get on a streak, lose to Duncanville, come back, and they won 9 in a row. C King's been one of the hottest teams in the state as well, scoring over 51 points a game. Really, if you look at the tail of the tape, these teams are almost a mirror image if you look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about it, man. Let's start with Seed King first. Stats. The Panthers are here. You know what I'm saying? And a couple years ago, we had Summer Creek in this position, but I think this might be a little different with this one. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Seed King for getting here. In my opinion, I think Timothy Potts has been one of the most steady quarterbacks in the state of Texas. He's the reason, or the big reason to me. We talk about Dylan Mitchell, we talk about Deion Sims. They always talk about the speed and everything, but this is to me, from the games that I've seen of Seed King, especially in his playoff run, Timothy Potts has been steady Eddie.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And you brought up something I was gonna point out. 2 years ago, you saw Summer Creek in this spot, whatever, against DeSoto, and we know that DeSoto team was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
right.
With DJ Bailey, Dalen Singleton, Tiger Ryder, that
Yeah,
was we
yeah,
understand, right?
right.
Still a great DeSoto team. I think that was a terrible matchup for Summer Creek, style wise. Uh, I still, looking back at it, believe Summer Creek was a better team than they showed that day, but that was just a bad matchup. I think this, like you said, man, they kind of spit image of each other. Like both teams. I will say this: DeSoto is the more experienced team. This is the fastest team that they're gonna face this year. Like
Right.
out of all the teams that they play, I think they're faster than Duncanville. I think they're faster than Creekside was or North Crawley. Like just straight speed with Dylan Mitchell, with Deion Sims, even Timothy Potts, he can get out and run. Braden Lane, like them boys can fly. Them boys really got speed, and they got speed on the defensive side of the ball too. But Calvin Carter, so they not no pushovers. I think this game, was going to come down to, obviously coaching, when you have two teams like this, but also the trenches. And see King, the beauty about them, shout out to, first year head coach Corey Laxon. I've seen up close and person like the changes that he's made. I'm standing next to him on the sideline, just peeping. As a coach myself, a young coach, I take bits and pieces from everybody. So and I just love everything that he does, man. He don't wait to make adjustments. He's not stubborn, So I think they don't know that they're not supposed to be here. So I think, and that can be dangerous. But that's a really good seed king team that I think they'll be prepared.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes when you're that young kid, young pup on the block, you don't know what you don't know. DeSoto on the other
Hmm.
hand, they have a Hall of Fame coach and a future Hall of Fame coach in Coach Mathis, that's been doing this and done that. He's got 2 state titles on his belt. Rob Baker, I think to right now is the best player in the state this year. This run that he's been on, I can't think of for a running back out of the only 2 people that I can think of in recent memory are Cedric Benson and Jonathan Gray for a running back that have been on this type of run, and maybe Gerald Moore with Yates. I was talking to somebody Sunday about this back in the
Man,
early '90s.
you went back.
Yeah. I saw that with my own eyes. I was kind of up close and
Yeah,
personal, but
man.
just off the top of my head, for a running back to just be so elite at what he does and the string of games that he's put on, you know what I'm saying? And he's coming up big in big games. 384 yards, 38 carries, over 400 total yards against a very good South Lake Carroll team last week. And then the nail in the coffin was the 99-yarder. You know,
That
the
was
nail in the coffin. I mean, that the fat lady sung the whole 99-yard run. You know, that was an epic finish. Sarah Baker is right now, to me, the best player in the state right now. You got to talk about the importance of Booby Feaster as well, playing on both sides of the football in that particular game, and then down the stretch, and then the steady Eddie, you know, just like Timothy Potts, is Legend Howe. You know, not a lot of people are talking about Legend Howe. He threw for over 300 last week, and I think 4 touchdowns. It was 20 for 27. He's been playing at a high level. And I said this at the beginning of the year when I looked at DeSoto, that I thought that Legend Howard would be the best quarterback in that district. He had a couple injuries, got a slow start, but down the stretch, he's been the best quarterback coming out of that district, in my opinion. But I think this DeSoto team is peaking at the right time, Stat.
man. To piggyback on what you said about Booby, you said he played both sides. He don't just play both sides; he impact both sides. Like it was a couple plays where, like, they went to a couple of Carroll got guys all over the field, man. Blake
Absolutely.
Gunter, Brody Nose, Brock, everywhere, right? And he was breaking up passes. He was in press coverage on the goal line. Yeah, on third down, I seen like he wasn't just, a lot of times you have guys just playing both ways, whatever, as a scare tactic. I've seen
Right.
it,
Right.
but no, he was actually impacting the game on both sides of the ball. So like you don't really see that. And that just speaks to, again, coaching. A lot
Yeah.
of coaches be scared to do that. Shout
Right.
out to Coach Claude Mathis.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches
Yeah.
not going to put their uh top prospect or whatever, because they probably trying to save him for, save his energy for the other side of the ball. But man, hey, but when things get tight, when you get to the nitty gritty, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Absolutely.
You gotta do. I don't care if he play kicker, linebacker. You gotta put him out there if he the best, one of the best athletes.
Yeah, and I think he's been one of those guys. We've seen him at an early age, and to see him continue to dominate on the big stage, it's what he does. You expect that from Feaster. You expect that from Sarah Baker. That offensive line for DeSoto has been dominant this entire stretch. They've won 9 games in a row since they lost to DeSoto, and they on the verge of getting the state title. And I think that says,
You mean
uh,
Duncanville?
you know, yeah. I mean, I think DeSoto is on its way. And I think C King is going to be, this is a very good test for those guys. Again, mirror images of each other in the style of play and the athletes that they have on the outside. This is going to be one in the trenches. Let's just be honest. That DeSoto defensive line has played well. The C King defensive line has played well. They both put up over 50 points a game, Stats. I mean, I think this is, one of the marquee games of the entire week.
Outside of what we just said, what's like a, I guess, underrated key to the game to where you can look at it and be like, man, this can loom large. Like if this happened or if that happened. And not matter of fact, I'll even go first. For me, I'm looking at, like you just said, the game is running in the trenches. I'm looking at the front four of C King. I think everybody know DeSoto wants to run the ball, right? They wants to run the ball. So if they can, and I don't think they're gonna shut down Sarad. He gonna do his, he'll get his numbers, but he can't have 366
Mm-mm.
or it's over.
It's over.
Now, if you get him 150, 200, you might have it's a chance. So I'm interested in Dominic Toulon, who's been
Mm-hmm.
a menace this whole playoffs for C King on the line. Uh, Getting sacked, stopping the run, containing the edge. He's just been a straight dog. So I'm interested in seeing the adjustments the defensive line make, because they're going to have to. They're going to have to make some adjustments. I think that's the for me the underrated key to this game.
Well, I'm gonna give you 2 keys. I think special teams is gonna play a key in this because I think both teams are gonna put up
Mm,
punts. When I say special teams, we talk about field position. If these defenses get to send in 3 and outs, pinning them back, inside, their own territory is key. But I think the others, you know what I'm saying? When I say the others, the guys that maybe you don't think about, and one guy that you got to look at for DeSoto is Antron Edmondson. He's a receiver, that maybe doesn't get all the fanfare. He wears number 9, but this guy
I was
is
just
a
gonna say that's number 9. Yeah.
yeah. He's a Saturday guy. You know what I'm saying? That maybe doesn't get all the limelight because he's playing next opposite the movie Feaster. Of course, Sarai's on his run. Those are the getting the headlines type guys. But I think Antron Edmondson could come up and have a big game. You know what I'm saying? Watch for this guy because all the attention is going to be, on Feaster and of course Sarai Baker. If C. King decides to sell out to stop the run, this is where Legend Howell can spread the ball around to his guys on the outside. And if they decide to shade, Feaster with a double team, Antron Edmondson can make him pay. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the X factors, the other guys. You know what I'm saying? And turnovers.
The, turnover was definitely killer, but definitely I agree with the others, and and I'll speak one for C King. Everybody know about Dylan Mitchell, Timothy Potts, and Deion Sims, but Antoine Sanders.
Yes.
Look him up. And
Straight
he's
up.
coming back. He's coming back next year.
Right.
So like that's another guy. Like he can play receiver too.
Absolutely.
So like if they want to get silly with it, bombs away, whatever. But I definitely agree with everything that you said about the field position, which will be important for a team like DeSoto. Like if they start on the 40 every time, and they getting it's third and if they can get in 3rd and 2, that's a DeSoto game. But like if you want to see King, you want to get them 3rd and long. I just want to get, but if once that first down they hand that ball off to Sarai and he getting 6-7 yards on first down, then man it's hard to stop. But the boys are like because 3rd and 2, this is wide open. This is wide open, and Coach Claude ain't scared to go for it.
No, I mean, I think you got to know with DeSoto's potent offense that they want to put up points. They're the type of team that'll choke you out if they get you behind.
So
It'd
how
be
we
hard for
calling
you to
it?
recover. Yeah. That's what happened to Summer Creek. They jumped on them so early with Singleton and Booby, and it was
Oh,
just and Tiger. It was over with
it was over.
early.
I remember. How you
See,
calling it?
how I'm calling it. If I got to lean one way, I'll be leaning towards DeSoto. I think Sarai Baker's playing on another level. You know what I mean? And I've seen him up close and personal. He did this last year. He was sharing time with Cook, but he's the guy this year. I think if I gotta look at something and I'm gonna ride Sarai Baker until I can't ride him no more. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm seeing King, that's who I got to stop. I know that Feaster's out there, and I know that he's a big time playmaker. He's gonna get his touches. Stopping Baker is probably the key to the game for me. If I'm on
Yeah.
the defensive side, if I'm for seeing King, you know what I'm saying. So that's how I would kind of look at it. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be the finale. Actually, it's gonna be the last game of the day. But
Yeah.
that middle
Right.
game stats is a rematch of people that know each other. You know what I'm saying? This is the classic H Town D Town matchup when we talk about North Shore and Duncanville.
Hold on. I ain't get my prediction on the
Go ahead,
last
go ahead,
game.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. What you thinking?
I'm honest. I'm pro Greater Houston area.
Say less.
I just feel like though DeSoto will be too much for him. I think
Absolutely.
I man, it's hard to just
Yeah.
go against what he been. It's hard to do, like
On
and I
another
love
level.
C King. I think C King can make it scary, but
Yeah.
and I don't want to call out a score. I have no idea what the score would be. No clue.
Yeah. I wouldn't say a
Points will be
score.
on the board.
Yeah.
I
That's why
I'm
I
I'm
said if I'm
I'm
leaning,
gonna,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying if I'm leaning, it's
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to
you know.
Soto. I like them. They've been here before, and Coach Mathis. He knows exactly what to do, and I think it's a lot of stuff they have not shown because they haven't had to. So I'm.
Well, I
I
think
man,
you
I'm.
I think you can expect the Coach Mathis team to throw everything but the kitchen sink in this one. They coming out
Yeah.
swinging. Expect them to come out aggressive. But on the other hand, See, King got some dogs now. You know what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
this is an H-Town thing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
what they breed on that side of town. So they ain't no slouch. They ain't scared of
Nah,
nobody.
for sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I say it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited, bro.
Me too.
I'm
I
excited,
can't wait.
man.
I can't wait.
Let's get it.
I can't wait. But yeah, man, that's this D1 matchup is Hatfields, McCaws, is cousin versus cut. Like this is what it is. This is the middle game now. D town, H town. Of course, that's the theme of we talking about today. North Shore, Duncanville, a rematch. I think. Whew, I called this a couple weeks ago, and people was like, "Oh man, you just talking." I saw this coming a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?
This you picked it?
Yeah. I said this was coming.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I
I
picked
saw it a
Allen.
couple weeks ago. Yeah. No, I didn't pick Allen. No. Because
I
I
picked
saw
Allen. I'm not
Duncanville
gonna
up.
lie to you.
Well, Duncanville's defense is probably one of the better defenses in the state, if not the best. I saw him up close in person against Waxahachie 2 weeks ago. Saw him play Waxahachie in Waxahachie. Saw him play DeSoto. And, they were on the cusp of being great. But this defense, I'm telling you right now, Stats is one of the best in the state. They only giving up 13 points a game. They got Landon Barnes, KJ Ford, Braylon Edwards, Victor Lincoln, Barnes on the corner out here, Cryer as well, JJ Manning in the middle. The two defensive tackles that a lot of people talk about in the middle are disruptive. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even got to offense yet, and you know what they got. But North Shore, man, 45 points a game. The defense has grown up. Since I saw them play sock, they have grown up. That back end, they were very young at the beginning of the year. And this is East Side High, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do over there. You know what I mean? They back in the state championship. And people saying, "Oh, I'm tired of seeing this, man." You got to beat them. You got to beat the big dog. If you don't want to see these two teams in there, beat them. Knock them off. You know what I'm saying? This was the dream matchup for football heads like us. This is what we love to see.
Hey, man. I was just saying this earlier. It's like one don't make it without the other. You're not gonna see North Shore versus Allen. You're not gonna see Duncanville versus Westlake or whatever. When one make it, the other make it. And if one don't make it, the other gonna lose. It's like they both gonna lose. It's
peanut
weird.
butter and jelly, whatever you want to call it. You gotta have it.
It's weird, and I guess that's maybe probably why I maybe psyched myself out into picking Allen. I just looking for something new. Even though I did think Allen was a formidable team, but man, I can't get enough of Duncanville versus North Shore.
Me either.
I'm sorry.
I'm
So
sorry.
I ain't mad at it one bit.
I ain't mad at it. No, I said it 2 weeks ago. People thought maybe I was talking crazy, but I saw this coming. You know what I'm saying? Like when we start to look at the brackets and how they start to shape out after the first couple of weeks, I knew they were on a collision course. I didn't think Lake Travis had enough to deal with them.
No.
And Allen, they put everything into beating North Crowley, and then they come back and they get Duncanville the next week. That's another game to get up for. They were game for it. But this Duncanville team, I'm telling you, they on another level, and you'll see it Saturday. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great game. I do think North Shore don't have the superstars on defense that they accustomed to have, but man, I will say, in my opinion, this is the best defensive line they've had in a couple years.
Yes,
at least 4 years. At least go back to that 21 team.
Yes.
Chris Lawson and those guys.
Yes.
Zaquan Nunn, he got 17 sacks on the year. Xavier
Exactly.
Waters, so those boys can get it done. Them big boys on the line, and they're much better on the offensive line than they were 2 years ago when this team played. Because they just got washed away. They just got washed away by WB. It was no contest. I think this is probably the most even it's been in a few matchups.
Right.
Well, I would say the 22 game was even player for player. The thing was North Shore didn't have Caleb Bailey. Keelan Russell was still young at the time, so you can you can kind of chop it up like that. But I love this matchup a lot. I think North Shore offense, like they don't have the Shadrick Banks and the Demetrius Davises and the even last year Farrakhan, like they don't have those guys necessarily,
Hmm.
but it looks smoother. Like last year, everything just looked so hard. I
Hmm.
don't like, everything looks so hard offensively. Like it's like they scored, but it seemed hard. This is just so much smooth. And Caleb Maryland, that boy is balling. Hezekiah Johnson has been a great pleasure to watch. I came out of nowhere, with Aubrey Johnson, Jalen Bocard, Dorian Barnes, which is Chris Barnes' little brother.
Hmm.
And it's
Hmm.
like it's like 4 or 5 of them. Like it's a lot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, they got some ballers, man.
Well, I think this whole season for North Shore has been, you know, the uh the play of Caleb Maryland. He steered them in the right way to get those. At the beginning of the season, I think it was him carrying the team. Now these other guys that you mentioned are starting to come up and match his intensity and match his playmaking ability to get them to this level. He's the Houston Touchdown Club Offensive Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Marin, he signed to Utah State. He's electric when he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
But it's gonna take more than one electric player to beat this Duncanville defense.
for
Like they're
sure.
gonna have something for that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take Bocard and Barnes and Arbery and all those guys to step up and have a complete game. No mistakes can be made because if you make a mistake with this Duncanville defense, they're gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't even talk about the
Yeah,
offense with Zachary Turner, Ace and Theus, uh,
accent is Trent
uh, uh,
Yancey.
Trent Yancey been playing out of his mind as well. You know what I'm saying? You can't forget Emmanuel Ellison. He's one of those guys that doesn't get a lot of limelight. But for me, stats, it's the play of Jacorian Rivers, the quarterback. He's grown up in these last, I would say, 6 to 7 games. He's played at a high level. His ability to stand in there and make the big passes and the big throws, I think it's the difference in this Duncanville team now and versus when you saw him against DeSoto. Max
Hmm.
Denson was the guy at the time, 7 touchdowns in that game. It seemed like things were starting to open up. They make a transition over to Rivers, and it takes him a couple of weeks to kind of get going. But he's playing now. They're peaking at the right time. And that offensive line
Yeah.
is starting to take over and make plays and open up holes. They came back to that physical Reginald Samples type running game with putting Yancey and Theus at Wildcat, a quarterback. And this is just the cohesiveness that they've gotten since they play. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me which way I'm
Hmm.
leaning, I think Duncanville, is a team that can be dominant in this game. I really like
Hmm.
what they do on both sides of the ball. They control the trenches, but we gonna see. I don't. This is a big rivalry game now. It's a rivalry game. It's like going to the state fair. You know what I'm saying? This is the game that everybody wants to see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I'm leaning one way, I gotta lean towards Duncanville. That's what you think.
I'm gonna go opposite this time. I'm gonna go North Shore this time.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think and for a couple reasons, I think there's no Caden Durham. That boy is
Listen,
crazy.
hey, now that's a once in a
That
generation
boy is crazy.
talent. You know what I'm
But
saying?
yeah, but
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
man. But no, seriously, like what I just said earlier. I think the offense for North Shore, it just looks smoother. Like I don't want to use the word easy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think nothing's going to be easy against this Duncanville defense, who I do believe they either one or two. Defensively, I love Allen defense.
Mm-hmm.
So and hey, I feel like last week they showed it, so got to give it to them. But I think the offense just looks smooth. Like the play calls are much different. Like it's not too predictable. The only thing that would like give me some concern, uh they get a little run happy at the wrong times. I feel like and I don't think you're gonna be able to run on this Duncanville team like that. You may have pop a couple ones here and there, a couple 10-yard runs and stuff like that, but I don't see nothing overly crazy, in the run game. Mix it up. You got to keep it. You got to be balanced, keep it honest. But I think this game should be won in the air. Like trust Caleb Maryland, and like I think that they do have good enough receivers, to make plays. Like I said, it is and there's coaching, and I think they'll get it done. Like I said, the defensive line, I really like this defensive line, and again, if Jacory Rivers, he had been playing at a high level, but he's still young. He's still new to this. So I feel like they might be able to get after him a little bit. You know, it's a coin flip game in my opinion. Like if Duncanville was to walk away with the win, I'm not gonna be surprised. It'd be like, okay. Like that's you know, I do think this game would be close, like compared to the last time that they met up.
For sure. Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. But if I'm leaning one way, I just think the defense for Duncanville is just a little bit stronger. These guys have been experienced. They've seen what the big lights look like at a state championship. Some of these guys are North Shore. This is going to be their first time in this thing, but this is North Shore. This is Coach Willie Gaston. This is Eastside High.
Yeah, he
You
gonna
know what
have
I'm
them
saying?
ready. Yeah,
They're going to have them ready. You know what I'm saying? The thing about North Shore,
yeah,
they come out in them black shirts and they ready to roll. You know what I'm saying? They're going to
yeah,
turn some
yeah.
flips at the end and they're going to get it. They're going to get
They
it.
could.
That's what they do. You
That's
know
my
what I'm
favorite
saying?
part.
That's my favorite part too. That's why I'm saying it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
love it.
Yeah. And then
I'm
listen, man,
I
I'm gonna
am
be real with you. You know what I'm saying? I want to. I'm looking at the factual things in this thing, and I just see that defense not giving them an inch. They know what they got to deal with. They got to get to Caleb
yeah,
Maryland. They got to get him off his spots, not let him make big plays, corral him, and they're gonna cover on the back end. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah. I think, man. I think both defenses gonna do their thing. Obviously, I feel like Duncanville has the better defense.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like just looking back at recent history, Duncanville haven't really just boat raced nobody, putting up like at least not with ease.
Right.
Even last week, you could look at 31-9, yeah, but it was an ugly 31-9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like and I just feel like I think North Shore will be able to do a few things on offense, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at a fairly low scoring game, a 24-27 ish. I don't think it's going to get too crazy. Now, I trust both defenses. Like I said, Duncanville defense going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, man, if Duncanville do look like the Duncanville of old, once Zach Turner get going and Ace get to going and Trent Yancey get to going and they putting up 50 and 60 like the old Duncanville, then this is over. It's over because they not gonna give up 50 or 60.
Mm-hmm.
So if you North Shore, you wanna keep this thing 28 or less. Like you want to get right up in there. That's the type of ball game you want. You don't want to get in the shootout because eventually Duncanville defense. I feel like they get stronger as the game goes, and they gonna
Mm-hmm.
clamp down eventually. They gonna get some stops. But man,
Yeah.
it's a toss up game,
It,
man.
it-
But I'm a
yeah.
roll. I'm a roll with North Shore on that one.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you got to look at it. You got to look at it from all angles. This is going to be the middle game on Saturday, and it's going to be one of the better games. But I think my favorite matchup is the one we about to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That's mine.
Back to
That's
back
mine.
appearances for Richmond Randall, and the fifth time Coach Todd and the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears they've been to 5 straight titles. That's unheard of in Texas high school football. Forget that they
My
lost the
favorite
last two.
coach, bro.
My favorite coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the South Oak Cliff coaching staff. And listen, I know my guy Coach Randall very well too. I was over there when he got the job. I went down there, spent some time with him. He showed me around, and he told me about this kid. You know what I'm saying? They say he walks on water. He said, Mark, this
I
is
already know.
a kid. I'm telling you, you need to look at him. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a guy. And he told me about Chase Sims as well. You know what I'm saying? This was his first year there. He said, by year 3, you know what I'm saying, Coach, I'm gonna be at the state title game. I said, okay, you know what I'm saying? And I knew him from May Creek and when he coached out at A-Leaf, you know what I'm saying? So this is my guy. We sit in his office talking about this.
Yeah.
And we sat in the press conference last year and talked about this. This is year 4, and they're back. You know what I'm saying? They got one of the best players in the country in Landon Williams Callis. Everybody knows this kid. You know what I'm saying?
Black Jesus.
You shaking your head. I mean, you know, you already know what this is. You know what I'm saying? But South Oak Cliff is death row defense for a reason. You know what I'm saying? This might be one of the harder games. I see you pondering now. Tell me what you think about this
I never told nobody this, but one person. We all called this matchup.
Yeah,
we all called this matchup way back when. This is no surprise.
We talked about this on the times we got together.
Early in the season, I said, man, look, it's Sock and everybody else on whatever side of the bracket you want to go to. Since then, I was at our Colony versus Randall in the regular season. They got off to a 21-0 start. Linden had 2 fumbles or 3. He had 2 fumbles overall. The team had 3 fumbles. Man, this boy is special, bro. I've seen him break tag. I'm like, there's no way he finna get out of this.
And
it was like you can take a picture and still shot it at the angle.
They had the angle.
And he just
walked away.
Next thing I know, he just
gone.
And once he get a little bit of step,
it's a wrap. You ain't getting it. Go on and start. Strike the band. Strike the band. You know what I'm saying?
Strike the band.
You know what I'm saying?
He is special. Yeah. So, you know, and you know, looking back at last year, I thought they were a little one-dimensional, but I thought their defense last year was amazing. So that's like people don't understand. Like that defense was really crazy last year, and that was without Pac-Man Dominguez.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, he had to sit out the year, but they still had Ryan Mallory. They still had Chase Sims. You know, so they were balling. I don't think they're as good defensively this year, but still good. You know, they were next level last year. But I think the difference between this year isn't just Landon. Alex Skrabinic, bro, he got over 3,000 yards and nearly 30 touchdowns. And them
Doesn't
boys
get talked about enough.
They can pass the ball more than people think. You know, so Mason Mixon the type. Come on now, like you know, I hate that DeCorian Rubin tore his ACL. Deuce, he was big time in the special team, and even offensively last year in the state championship game. But man, I think they are a more complete team this year than now. Obviously, more experienced team. Sock, I feel like their defense. I don't even understand how Sock defense got better from last year. Bro, do you know how many? I don't know how many shutoffs they pitched this year. They shut people out in the playoffs. They shut out PNG. Granted, the quarterback was hurt. I get it. But we still know PNG is PNG.
It wouldn't have mattered.
It probably wouldn't have mattered. But man, they are really like suffocating people, bro. And what to me, my most, or at least one of the most underrated players in this whole run, and I put him on my top 25 most exciting players list. It's Mikael Trotter. I love that kid. I don't think he get. And I'm looking, I was like, man, what are these college recruiters doing? What are y'all waiting on? Like, it got to be. They must know something I don't know. I don't know what it is. It got to be something else, man. I don't get it, but that boy is special to me too. You know, so this is gonna be one of the ones. This is one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I'm most excited about this one too because I think you got literally the 2 best teams, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. On paper, in person, on tape, 2 best teams. 1 and 2 in the state, depending on who you talk to at any time of the year. You mentioned Mikael Trotter, but you got to look at Levon Morton and Mikael Trotter as the 1-2 punch that makes that Sock offense go. And then you got to look at Jaden Williams, who's been playing at a high level at the quarterback position.
Oh, yeah, the quarterback, right? Yep.
I mean, just lights out. I saw him back in the summer at 707. They were down at College Station in a Ron Murray 707 tournament. And I knew that Sock was going to be all right. I saw this in the summertime because all of these guys were there. You know what I'm saying? I already knew what they had in the trenches, but they're skill guys.
Mhm.
Torrin Teague, Coleman can play on both sides of the football. Corday Houston on the D line, Jamarian Phillips, Marcel Gibson,
I was just
and
gonna say
Cody.
he was hurt at one point, wasn't he? He back, right?
Both of them were out.
Jamarian Phillips.
They were out. They didn't play against North Shore. Uh, they were out. So all of this stuff they've done without two of their best defensive players. But the sophomore Cody Smith, the linebacker, really took over for Phillips in his absence and has made a name for himself. This defense is what leads. It's what leads this team. It sets the identity along with the offensive line. They set the tone. You know what I'm saying? And you can expect them to set the tone. Listen, the difference in the game last year was the kick returns and the play of Keelan Sweeney. You know what I'm saying? Those were the two things that kind of was the difference in the game. Of course, they lost by a field goal. South Cliff did last year, but those kick returns and those special teams, that was the difference in the game. I don't think you're gonna see that this year. You give these guys at South Cliff a whole entire year to focus on something like this. This is what they're waiting on. This is what they need. They got to finish the job. This is what they've been saying the entire year. They've been looking at this and saying, hey, guys, we got to get back to this point and finish the job this time. On the flip side, Coach Randall is saying, hey, we've been here, done that. Let's go and prove that we're wire to wire the best team in the state 2 years in a row with the best player 2 years in a row. And guess what, guys? Y'all got to deal with him another season. He's only a junior.
Which is crazy. That's wild.
You got to deal with this guy again. But
Man, I want to give you a little. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Say what you got. What you have for?
Now, I just want to give you a little pushback on the special team thing. So the on the flip side of that, yes, you can say, yeah, they're not gonna do that again, which is fine. So what a lot of teams do, they tend to kick it short.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you don't want to do is give Randall a short field.
No,
you don't want to have him starting at the 40 every time, bro. Because man, look, that playbook is open. Like you want to make them go to the long start on 2025. You know what I mean? So so you can look at it like, yeah, you can limit the points, the returns, but at the same time, that field position, all that stuff gonna come into play because let's say if you on the 48-yard line and it's 4th and 1 versus if you on the 35-yard line and it's 4th and 1, you probably gonna punt right there. Well, if it's a 1 yard, and I got Black Jesus, I'm trusting him to get it 1 yard. So it's just the small things like that, you know what I'm saying? Like as a coach, that I think about too. And I know Coach Todd gonna have them boys prepared in all levels of the game.
Yeah.
So I just want to just give you some pushback on that. I think Sock wants to run the ball again, but I do think again, I think their passing game is a little better than last year.
Absolutely, it is.
Like
for sure.
when the last time I was at state 2 years ago when they lost to PNG, the passing game really wasn't there at all. It was like, and that's really the reason why they lost the game, if we're being honest with you, outside of, the penalties and stuff like that. But I think, both teams are hard nosed teams. They got a little familiar with each other. I'm sure, you know how they always say, yeah, one game at a time, but quiet as kept. They both been having their eye on each other. You know how
they've been side eyeing each other all year because this is the coaching profession. You know how this works. You know what I'm saying? People talk. You know what I mean? And they may not have been watching film on it, but they've been kind of keeping an eye on each other, knowing that they could possibly meet each other again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think.
And to piggyback, go ahead.
I'm listening.
Now to piggyback of what you said about the best two teams, a lot of times when you see two teams meet up in a state championship game, a lot of times they really don't be the best two teams because you might have that semifinal on one side because the way how the brackets be a little funny sometimes. The semifinal game or even the regional final game between two teams could be the actual best two teams. But no. these are actually the best two teams. It's not a Melissa or Argyle. It's not an Iowa Colony or a Texas like a Brenham or these are the best two teams. So no matter which way you stack it up, if you flip, I feel like if you flip both sides, if you
They gonna
put
win the regions wherever
Sock
they at.
on the other,
Yeah,
wherever they at,
right.
so then you really get the best two teams.
Absolutely. Um, I think both of these teams are well traveled. They're used to winning on the road. They're used to winning in hostile environments, and that's a test to the coaching staffs having them prepared to play in any situation. You know what I mean? And that's what you get with both of these teams, well coached. Teams that are veteran teams at this point, and these both of these teams take the identity of their head coaches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
So
that's the
what?
kickoff game too.
It's the 11 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna be there by 9.
Yeah, that's the
You know what
kid.
I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yeah.
yeah,
Go on,
yeah, yeah. I gotta
get your
get there.
coffee in you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm
Be
gonna
there
be
by
there
9.
anyway the night
Yeah,
before.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah,
So looking at this matchup, I'm gonna put you on the spot early now. You know what I'm saying? Which way you leaning with this one? Which way you leaning?
I'm gonna go Randall because of the improvements I've seen the second half of the season. You know, the passing game, and I do think they're relentless too. Like they didn't have to do backstrap like that. Just that, just to me that means something.
Yeah,
Look, we finna step on you. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to hang with us. We're not
right.
finna just make it look cute.
Yeah.
No, we finna show you that you're not supposed to be on this field with us. That it's just a different type of dog. Like they didn't have to do them like 83 points is crazy.
Well,
I
yeah.
think again. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think nobody's getting 40, 50. I don't see that.
Mhm.
I'm an edge. I'm an edge, and I'm not overly confident. So I wouldn't bet or nothing like that. But I'm an edge. I'm an edge Randall. Black Jesus is gonna do it.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, man. This is a tough one. That's why I saved it for last because, uh, you know, I do know Coach Randall pretty good. Shout out to Coach Ward, Coach Todd, my guy Coach Carr, Coach Bryce. Man, I know a lot of the coaching staff over there, and I've been covering these kids. A lot of these kids have been in state for 4 years in a row. But to me, it started at game one. You know what I'm saying? And when I saw Sock come out and dominate a good North Shore team, I saw Sock dominate a good Longview team. I saw him go toe to toe with Duncanville. I knew that this was the team, especially on the defensive side. The second round, Terrell came in with a big, you know, huffing and puffing and beating their chest because they were 12-0 and they wanted to see Sock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They weathered that storm. You know what I'm saying? P&G, all the talk all week about wearing colors and putting on the purple gloves and all that. They took care of business with that. Melissa came back in with Brett Holloway and the game was at the Cotton Bowl. They got rid of that too. All things point towards state. All things point towards Jerry World. And listen, the H-Town representative in me wants to go with Randall. But I just think that Sock is on a mission. I've seen these guys work to get at this. Not that Coach Randall and them haven't. And I've seen them work at it. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is Sock's time. There's something about this team this year is different from the other teams that they've had. To me, they've had bigger stars, but this is a team. This is the deepest receiver core that they've had. You know what I mean? They've always had great receivers, but I'm saying that any one of these guys can go off. And the run game is going to be on point. And I think Sock wins their third one. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about Todd with 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? This time. If I'm leaning, that's the way
I
I'm
ain't
leaning.
mad.
You know what I'm
I ain't
saying?
mad because like I said, I picked Sock early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes to show the credit, I gotta give, Coach Randall and his staff,
Absolutely.
they, bro, they turned it on.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
were still, they undefeated, obviously, but they were still winning. But the way they won from
Yeah.
that Iowa Cotton game up until
On.
now, and
Yeah.
I'm just looking at certain things. I'm like, okay, I'm with you now,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for this. This is my favorite
This is
matchup
my
on
favorite
on
matchup.
all the
It's the
games,
first one too. You know what I mean? And
and
the
I
way to
love
kick it
that. I
off, I
love
can't.
that
Yeah,
too.
I can't wait. I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be ready for this one. Like I said, I'm gonna be there by 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go on and get there and be ready. I want to. This is one you want to. For what we do, you want to be on the field early. You want to look people in the eye and see how they moving. This is one of them. This is
Well,
one of them games.
what's one player who you excited to see the most? Like not just a team, but like a player, like who you think is gonna get crazy this weekend?
I'm excited to.
I
I'm
got
gonna.
mine.
Out of all three games, or
That's
just this
all
particular one?
12 games.
All 12. I want
We
to
can
see
talk.
Carthage. I want to see Carthage. I want to see KJ Edwards. I want to see DeQuavius back, and I want to see Frisco Lone Star. And shout out to my guy Trey Wright and Davion Gross and Carice Hart. You know what I'm saying? Those some guys I've been. Yeah, yeah,
That's my
yeah,
pick. Trey
yeah,
Wright.
yeah. Friday night.
That
You know
boy
what I'm saying?
is crazy.
Yeah, you know
That's
what I'm
great.
saying?
Gunnar Showquist took the running back for Smithson Valley. Man,
Mm-hmm.
that boy can ball. And
Spencer
that's
Valley.
I feel like
Yeah.
on paper. On paper, I'm a roll with Lone Star. But man, you can't count Smithson Valley. They're the champs too. You can't
They the
count them boys
champs.
out.
Man, shout out to my guy Hudson Woods, Caleb Pegler, and those guys, man. Listen. And
That
that's gonna be a
There's gonna be
tough
some good
game.
games
It's
this
gonna be
week,
some
man.
good games, but
Yeah.
I'll be there Friday because I got to see my guy Trey Wright, Carice Hart, and Davion Gross. Those three guys that I've been knowing and
Davion
following
Gross,
for a little man. And he
Jet
can't.
Surratt,
He's just a rat. I mean, I got to see Carthage, man. I want
Carter,
to see Kilgore too as well.
Kelvin Jefferson. Kelvin,
Lil
he
Hayes
5'3", little Kelvin Jefferson.
from West Orange Stark. Yes.
Where's our start?
Yes. I'm
Hey,
glad you
man,
brought
some
that up.
ballers, man.
Man, say.
Some ballers, man.
Man.
Xavier Barnett. Now we can go on.
Yoakum. I want to see it, man. Yeah, I forgot about my boys Yoakum, man. Robinson.
Hey, man, this is really star-studded.
Yoakum got a freshman that's lights out. Robinson.
You seen Wall play? Wall is throwing that peel.
They took
Landon
care of
York,
business against
throwing that
Gunter.
ball.
Yeah. It's a lot
like,
to see.
man, this whole from the smaller
week.
classification.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. If you want to go out with a bang, it starts tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It starts Wednesday through Saturday. Man, we're going to be in the building. Stay tuned to the platform, man. We're going to be all over. We're going to be doing little interviews. We're going to go live a few times. We'll get some guys around. And, it's going down, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be in the building, man. Stay tuned, man. Check out, the article you wrote today, which I thought was great. Got 25 guys. I'll be dropping one on a couple of these teams that we'll be looking forward to. The platform DR.com, man, is the website. Check it out, man. We're going to have content all weekend starting tomorrow, man. Right here on the Platform Podcast Network. Of course, I'm your host for the DFW. We got Stats in the building for H-Town, man. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll tap in with you this weekend. Look for us on live, man. Look for us on Instagram, platform, everything. We out.
Yes, sir. All right.